All right, y'all. Happy Halloween. We are back. You guys just watched our interview with Jeff Lewis, a photographer for the Rams, and doing all things all across LA and the world. And it definitely was a good one. You guys tuning into that. We're back today to talk about all the NFL things. And a quick note, as we are here in LA, we're going to talk about the Lakers as well. We're going to jump into that first. We got a whole lot of stuff going on with the NBA and things. We'll get to that more in depth later on. But yeah, quick Laker talk. And then a whole bunch of recap of NFL Week 7 and jumping into Week 8 and going from there. So should be a good episode. You guys for joining us. Follow us online everywhere and all of that. Subscribe to the show. And let's get this thing rolling, man. There's a whole lot we got to get to right now. Gotta get that costume ready. It's that time of the year, man. It's that time of the year. Can you hear me clearly still?
Clear enough.
Clear enough? All right, I'll keep it on just for a segment. So, yeah, definitely the Halloween season. Definitely in the spirit. Got my Michael Myers
scary hours for the Lakers right now.
Huh?
Say scary hours for the Lakers right now.
Oh, you're definitely scary hours for the Lakers right now. Already, 3 games in, it's a struggle for these boys. How you feel about how the season has started for Russ and the guys over here?
I know you're about to get hot as hell. Yeah, it's never a good look when you're in the same boat as the Sacramento Kings at 0-3.
Why you gotta? There's no need to shoot like that. There's no need for that.
I'm just saying you never.
Hold on. I was laughing too hard. My bad.
What did you do?
The Kings like that. What's really the issue here?
I would say it's never a good sign when you're in the same boat as the Sacramento Kings at 0-3 to start the season. You want to be in the conversation with some of those contending teams when you have a LeBron James, Anthony Davis on your team. It has not been a great start. We knew that the first 10 was going to be a brutal stretch, regardless of how well they were playing, because they were playing a lot of teams that are going to be contenders. But to start off 0-3 is not a good sign whatsoever. I thought that they would struggle against the Warriors and against the Clippers, but losing that Blazers game felt even more impactful. And I mean, rightfully so, they've been heavily criticized. I think some of it still has been a little bit overblown, but it's not a good situation right now because they clearly have a team that is not the greatest fit. And fit and situation heavily matters in all sports, but especially in basketball. So
right. So first off with that, I wanted to take the mask off.
Yeah, I know you hot in there.
It wasn't hot, I just couldn't talk. But yeah, definitely a rough start for us already. And I will say though, I had the Blazers out. I had the Blazers at 11 in my playoff rankings. That's really low. They look like they're a solid squad already. So definitely want to just tip the hat to them. They still might end up being low. They definitely put on a good performance early on the season against us. And them and the schedule, like you said, it's a rough first 10 just to begin with. I think I texted you when the schedule came out. I think I said we might go 2-8 or something like that in the first 10. So I guess we're still on track for that.
I was like 4-6 optimistically.
Yeah, optimistically. So technically we're still on track, but just to see how bad they looked alongside that has been the most disappointing thing. So yeah, I really hope things get fixed. And yeah, go ahead.
I will say, while they have looked bad offensively, I think the defensive end has been really good to see.
Right.
For much of the games, they had that poor stretch in the third quarter in that first game against the Warriors, but for much of these first 3 games, the defensive intensity and effort has been there. So that's been a great thing to see. It seems like they've bought into Darvin Ham's principles on that end, but they can't throw a rock in the ocean right now. They cannot shoot. I think they're like a historically bad shooting team 3 games through the season, like 20% or so. And it's everyone. It's not just like a couple guys are off. Like no one is making threes right now. So that's been really the main issue. Like they have no outside shooting. So of course the Russ trade talks are at an all-time high because we need shooting depth we need wing depth. So.
And people that have been pointing to, as we already discussed in the past, the Pacer trade, but another scenarios popped up that may be more realistic with the Spurs acquiring Josh Richardson, Doug McDermott, and Jacob Pertl, and maybe with only just a pick being given up in return as well alongside Russ. What do you like in that scenario compared to the Indiana one?
Yeah, I do like the idea of that deal more, getting 2 6'5", 6'6" wings that can shoot the ball at a pretty high clip, especially from 3.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely like it more than Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. I mean, Miles Turner, who's more made of glass than Anthony Davis, and then Buddy Hield, who's a solid shooter, but that would just be one shooter. And I think we need a couple guys, as I think Matt Ryan is our best 3-point shooter at this point. So it's very bleak. He shouldn't be seeing the floor at all, and he's our best shooter. So, yeah, I like more depth is better to me than because I think AD can play the 5, and Darvin Ham will have him play the 5, regardless of whether he likes to or not. Maybe that adds more wear to his tires, but if this team wants to be a contender, I think he has to be at the 5. So getting more wing depth, I think, should be the priority.
Got you. I agree. I like the Spurs scenario, as you also said. And yeah, we'll just see if they pull the trigger. Rob Pelinka is, if there's a ranking of who should be have the highest seat right now, I think really it should be him above everybody else. While everybody does talk about Russ and AD and all of that, I think how he put this roster together and seeing the lack of shooting, like I don't know how he didn't realize what was come together as he was putting it all as it is. So yeah, we'll see if he pulls the trigger on that. And I also like to see that for Russ, because I think that would finally just take all that pressure off of him that LA has been putting on him. Every move is criticized, and as we said just today, there's a report that came out. Shams came out with a whole report and
a whole video, man.
Video. You'll never see any other team. I think even like, for example, randomly, Jaden Ivey is sitting down today. We're not getting a whole news report with detailed analysis about Jaden Ivey being out in the game today. But we're getting a whole breakdown because Russell Westbrook is not going to be playing. So the pressure that's being put on him from LA and beyond has gotten very nasty. Definitely been toxic, and I definitely want to see him freed from that, because it's gotten way too far at this point.
Yeah. To that point, though, Woj made a report earlier when he was on, I forget what is it, Get Up, that show with
That's the morning one.
Yeah, it was the morning one, and Stephen A was on there too. But he was basically reporting that a deal might not be made until 20, 30 games into the season, when teams are in the Wembanyama sweepstakes and are looking to make a move to kind of further their tanking or whatever.
That plus the contract stuff. I think after December 15th, I guess more guys
become available to trade. Absolutely. Yeah. So it's like, they may have to ride this out until then. And he was saying it may go the entire season too, if they're not able to find a deal that they feel is valid enough for giving up multiple first-round picks. So, correct. Yeah, I mean, it's rough because it's clear that the fit is not ideal. At best, is not ideal. But if they're not able to get a deal done, do you think they should sit Russ down?
I don't think so. Because while from afar the media highlights every bad move, he's not playing trash the whole game. Right.
He hasn't shot well the last couple of weeks.
He hasn't shot well, but no one else has shot well either.
Yeah.
So he still has a whole lot he could contribute to this team. And I think he still could be a valuable piece. So as long as the team themselves can continue to believe that and not let the outside noise that's gotten monumentally loud right now, they can keep withstanding that. I think you can keep him in there. This does not have to be, people compare it to like John Wall situation in Houston. This does not have to be like that. He can stay on this roster and continue to be a helpful piece to this team as they continue to find their way.
Yeah.
So the next question would be, as you mentioned, he might still be here for a little while. So if Russ is going to be here, what is the alternative to fixing this team and their lack of production so far?
I think, like we talked about too, like the staggering of Bron and Russ really needs to be more of an emphasis because they both clearly are most comfortable when they're on the ball. Bron can play really well off the ball, but he's most comfortable when he's on the ball. And deservedly so, wants to be the guy making most of the playmaking decisions. So I do think staggering them would be best if you are still going to be playing Russ, because having him at like just as a screener or just off in the corner, it doesn't do anything for your spacing as well either, because guys are just sagging off and not even acknowledging it.
Sorry to cut in, but from what I have already seen of some of the games, they are already kind of staggering them. So why do people still get so riled up about his name in the starting lineup?
I'm sorry. You said why do people get riled up about
why is this an issue to people that he's in the starting lineup? From what you see, like why is that such a big deal?
I mean, I think the narrative around his name that like he's an inefficient, low IQ player, like he's been painted as a bum at this point. And I think we would see maybe like he's for sure lost some of his like burst, like athletic ability. But I think if he was traded to another team, like he's a floor raiser. So like whatever team he goes to, I think he would be closer to Washington Russ than he has been with the Lakers. I don't think he's like completely fallen off a cliff like the narrative has been painted of him. And I think that's part of the media machine. That's part of how Lakers fans are like so doom and gloom.
My bad. You said that's part of the media machine, and what else? I lost you for a second.
Yeah, that's part of how like Lakers fans are so like doom and gloom, like they're so extreme. They used to talk like incredible shit about KCP, and then he was like our third best player, and they're like bullying worked. It's like, no, like you guys are not good fans.
You guys know what you're talking about.
So how he's covered, I think, goes to why like there's so much like vitriol towards his name and him being in the starting lineup. Like you even like look at ESPN right now, you go to the Lakers page, it talks about one of the headlines them being a historically bad shooting team, but then the picture is of Russell Westbrook as if like no one else has been historically bad shooting the ball on the team. So it's part of the media machine, how the Lakers are covered, how LeBron teams are covered, and how Russ is covered.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. So just want to get clarity in it for folks watching. The last thing I'll ask with that, we weren't supposed to go this long with the Lakers stuff anyway. We'll hold another NBA episode on the West later on. But the last thing I'll ask with that is the appeal when we traded for AD, whether he could win now and also carry the torch from LeBron after LeBron is gone. And when he did come, we did win. He doesn't appear to be the guy also for the future that's going to carry the torch. So with that not being the case, shouldn't there be more pressure on him and trying to get another predecessor in the building rather than all the pressure being applied to Russ and all his woes that are going on?
It's a good question. I mean, because AD is one of those examples of like super talented, but like I don't know if he's got that dog in him. Like on a night-to-night, like he's got that puppy in him, I guess. Like he's got it sometimes, but like he's not 100% a dog like all the time. And it's frustrating because like when he is at the top of his game, he looks like arguably the best player in the league on some nights. Just what he can do on both ends of the floor, like as a disruptor defensively, and then giving you 25 and 12, or 30 and 12. So I think more pressure should be applied to him. I think he has so far this season kind of answered the call with his individual play. He's still not shooting well, and he should probably stop taking threes because he's adding to the historically bad three-point shooting.
Everybody should just attack the basket.
But I think for the most part, like he hasn't been the issue this season. I want him to continue playing like this throughout the year, and that's where he's like fallen into trouble with sometimes looking like he doesn't necessarily want to be out there, being frustrated with playing the 5 when that's ultimately how we maximize this team's talent.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe they should look another direction as far as the future of the franchise, because I don't know that. I mean, we saw what building it around AD did in New Orleans. Like it got them to the playoffs, but not much farther.
Right.
So I don't know that that's a winning formula going forward. So yeah, I mean, he should be like, if you're doing your due diligence, I think we've said this for the past year, like AD should be discussed in trade talks too. Yeah.
Yeah, so we shall see. I just want to throw it out there because all the trades I've seen are all just saying Russ, Russ, Russ. But there's another guy out there that could get us a nice package back potentially. So
Yeah.
we'll see what goes on with the team and how they manage it all. But again, way too long on Lakers stuff right now. We'll be back for NBA stuff at another point. But now here for what we were actually meant to be here for, the NFL and things going on. This last week with our LA squads first. Rams had a bye, but it still was a headline week because they tried to go get Christian McCaffrey and lost in some of a bidding war to the Niners. They put out an offer themselves, I believe. I don't know if Akers was in that, but I saw there were a whole bunch of picks involved trying to get McCaffrey. Okay. Up in the Bay, but back up north there. He went to Stanford, of course, and has connections already to the area and all that kind of stuff. So he was happy to be there. But the Rams wanted to utilize his services as well. Do you think that was a mistake? I guess not going harder potentially to get McCaffrey.
No, because I don't think that was the issue. I think the offensive line is the issue, and I think Henderson's serviceable with a good offensive line. It's a Sean McVay is more, I feel like, more of a pass heavy offensive guy. Correct. And when you have Cooper Kupp, that makes sense. So I think the offensive line is what was that?
I said Anskoronic.
Yeah, Anskoronic and Higbee. That makes sense to prioritize the offensive line as that is clearly the main issue here. And as Jeffrey Lewis, who we had on as well, mentioned, like more 3-and-outs means more of the defense having to be on the field, and it would help if we can put together some longer scoring drives so that the defense doesn't have to work as hard. And yeah, so I'm not mad at us not getting Christian McCaffrey. I also don't think the 49ers getting Christian McCaffrey like boost their contender chances that much more. I think it's obviously a plus, but I don't think it like shot them into contenders.
Right. Agreed on both ways. To the Rams, I was actually at least slight confused. While I do understand they want to get another running back in the backfield because Akers is no longer a part of it. There was a lot, at least somewhat, there was a decent amount of hype about Kyrie Williams, who they drafted, I believe, this last year. I know he's hurt. Is going to be out for a few more weeks, I believe. Having a guy that could be on the way that could fill that void in the backfield, I was like, why go so hard for another superstar guy back there when you had a guy you drafted that you guys are still very excited to bring on board? So yeah, I'm glad that for them, it kind of fell through. And if that means those picks are potentially on the table, go find some linemen or something. Do something to get Matt protected, because that clearly is the difference between them being a mid-tier team, both middle of the pack, and just being mid as a team as they're playing so right now, and being an elite squad back in Super Bowl contention, which they don't seem to be right now. So yeah, I think if those picks are on the table, then you go and try and get somebody before this trade deadline comes up. So we'll see how they manage that. But
yeah, if they can do that and bring back, like, shore up the offensive line and bring back Odell, I think it significantly like helps their chances of advancing. Yeah.
So that could be all it takes. I know it seems simple, but I know it takes a lot of work, and we'll see what they put together there. So exciting things still on the way for the Rams. For the Chargers, again, I keep putting them in the question because they continue to, even in good games, they look disappointing, and then when they play bad, it's just for cement shit, and they lost to the Seahawks.
It's great for my Burrow over Herbert agenda, so I'm fine with it.
Say that again.
I said it's great for my Burrow over Herbert agenda, so I'm fine with it.
Let's jump straight into that. I'm fine with that. So, what do you think? You think Joe Burrow is way ahead of Herbert still?
I wouldn't even say way ahead. I just think he's cemented as ahead. And Justin Herbert was talked before the season as potential MVP, and he really hadn't. Yeah, I think you were part of it.
I hope that L every day.
You were leading the pack, but you bought into the hype for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think he hadn't proven it yet, and I think he was crowned a little bit too early. Like it's like if we maybe the hype was similar around Mahomes, but I think Mahomes also had better seasons and had a Super Bowl MVP as well. So
I was gonna say real quick, Mahomes had nice seasons. We're like, okay, he's the one.
Yeah.
Herbert had a nice game, and we're like, oh, okay, it's not the same thing. Not the same. So
because
to it, but yeah.
Aesthetically, like he throws a really pretty ball. The arm talent's clearly there. He makes some of those like tight window throws. But some of that is also a con when like he's trying to force balls into positions he shouldn't be instead of taking the check down and moving the chains, that kind of thing. People have talked about maybe Brandon Staley's holding him back a bit. That could be part of it. And I know he has injured ribs as well, so I'll give him that. But you are out on the field, so I'm not going to give you the injury excuse, Russ. But I think Herbert is right there. Like I have him and Burrow like right next to each other. Like I think he's like 6 if Burrow's 5 or however you want to number them. But I think Burrow is just a step ahead. I mean, he showed us in college. I mean, he showed us high school, college, and then in the pros just got to the Super Bowl. So, and it wasn't like a team where they were the odds-on favorites to win. Like they had to get through some teams to get there. And I think Burrow has proven it more than Herbert has to this point. So not to say that he can't be a top 3 quarterback in the league in a couple years, but he's just not there yet, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I have no problem of agreeing with you in that. I know I feel we can do the hype early on, but I see that he still has a lot of ways to go. The potential still is clearly there, and he's still on track to be that, as you said. But right now, he is not there yet. While guys like Burrow and others are already checking those boxes, and Burrow has already this season bounced back and shown yet again that he is still that guy. So yeah, definitely want to tip that to him. And hope that the Chargers, Herbert and beyond, figure that out over there as they still have some ways to go. Again, as I mentioned, just losing to the Seahawks last week. So sad things with them. But again, still looking up for them going forward. I think they actually just lost J.C. Jackson for the year.
That was tough.
They have the injury bug every year. It always seems like they always have something that gets in their way that stops them from reaching their full potential. But hopefully they can still find a way to stay afloat this year and make a nice run. So fun things with them. And then the same boat is the Ravens, always having their injuries and things. And J.K. Dobbins is out, but Gus Edwards has finally came back, thankfully.
Stayed with the win last week.
And had a nice win over the Browns. Thankfully, we got that done. A close game that we actually came out ahead in finally and got that victory. And hopefully we can build on that as we go forward. I'll get today, or not today. Oh, well, by the time you guys watch this, Thursday, today, tonight should be a good one. And I just hope that we start showing, like I said, we can be a dominant team because we're up double digits in many of these games. But we always slip up at the end and let teams come back on us and still wins when they shouldn't. There very well could be an argument, though we are, I think, 4-3 right now. If folks said we were 7-0, I believe them. If folks said we were 1-6, I believe them as well. So I hope that they just keep their foot on the gas a little bit harder as they go on the rest of the season. And a great test, I think, is this Bucs game coming up, and we'll talk about that during our quick picks. But any comment on the Ravens as they continue to go on this season?
Yeah, I mean, I hesitate. I didn't want to put Lamar on the not him side, but I did want to ask you, like, if you have any concern about him. Because I'm a fan of his. Like, I want him to get back to that MVP level. But the last 4 games, I guess have not been good.
No.
So I know that some of the pieces have been injured, aren't too special outside of Mark Andrews, but is there any concerns for you, like with him as a QB? Some of the decision making,
No. It is like frustrating to watch. I will say. But I think there's so much else going on with this team that what he's doing isn't actually the issue. I think it's very much to what we started off to talk about. It's like Russ with the Lakers. Like, you guys highlight Russ as the issue, but the whole team's playing like trash, and you guys don't acknowledge it. In the same way, the Ravens have a whole lot with our receivers. Bateman's been in and out of the lineup, and the other guys haven't fully been doing the best at creating separation and then doing things of that nature. And then the line hasn't been perfect either. Andrews might be out, I think, this week as well, and things like that. Yeah. So when you have all these other pieces that are falling apart, he's trying to make do with what's around him. I'm sure it's going to make him look bad also. But I think if they prioritize making sure that he gets the proper help that's around him, he'll get back to that MVP form that I believe he could be at. So while, yes, he is struggling himself, I guess to really answer your question, I think there needs to be more focus on getting the pieces around him up to form as well. So that's what I'm hoping for as we go forward. And again, looking forward to this game tonight versus the Bucks. So that's just a quick recap. We went too long with the LA Lakers stuff. Quick recap of all of our teams here for our Week 7 reaction. The last thing with Week 7, of course, is all of our him zone things. Definitely a whole lot of good stuff went on around the league, and excited to talk about all of that. Alec, as we always do, we're going to jump into it. Who's MVP this week?
Absolutely. Number one, I already briefly talked about him, but Joe Shiesty up here once again. He's looking
like my Ravens stuff on right now, but I'll salute the dude for that.
Oh yeah. He's proven that he's the real deal. Like, I didn't understand. I know they started off kind of shaky, but I think we knew that they would get back to this level. And he had a 481-yard game, 3 touchdowns, and he's got the most 400-yard pass games through 3 seasons with 5, like of anyone. So he's clearly good at slinging the rock. Like, I think we've established that, and there's no need to discredit anything that he's done because he's put up historic numbers. Along with that, one of his running mates, because he had a couple, Tyler Boyd was great last game as well, but Jamar Chase, another 130 yards, 2 touchdown game. They were dominant against the Falcons. Wasn't really close for most of it. And we'll get to a Falcon on the not him side later. I wanted to definitely highlight, because I feel like I missed him in these past weeks, but Josh Jacobs, man, like he's been sensational.
Definitely
the last 3 weeks. What is it? Yeah, 3 straight weeks, 140 yards and a touchdown. And this past year, the past week was 143, 3 touchdowns. He's been dominant. I think there was questions coming into this year. People were like, is he the Raiders guy? Because the previous regime had drafted him, and he already had a lot of tread on the tires. And
I think about him getting traded in the preseason.
Exactly. It was like people were very low on him coming in, but he's been dominant. Like, he's probably been the third best running back, I guess, like after Saquon, Derrick Henry, or maybe 4th after Chubb. Right. But he's been really good. And it probably hasn't been as noticed too, because the Raiders have been losing a lot of games.
Exactly.
But he's been sensational himself. So Josh Jacobs definitely needed to be on here. And then Kenneth Walker, who's stepped up in Rashad Penny's absence, had a 168-yard game, 2 touchdowns, knocked me out of winning my matchup against Matt. It was rough. It was as soon as he got the toss and got around the edge, I was like, God damn. I knew he was going to take it to the house.
Yeah, at least one of us got you, man. One of us had to get you.
That would hurt. That would hurt for sure. Should have played the Cowboys defense. But so those are my 4 for the week. And I think
on the topic real quick, as you think, can we have a moment of silence for Breece Hall, please?
Yeah.
He was great yet again.
He was on his way to another sensational game.
My fantasy team back to life, and in an instant, it just went up in flames. And God, it turned injuries off. Went out with that ACL injury, and definitely may have changed the fate for the Jets of the rest of the season. So definitely a tough one to see. He's one of the better rookie class of running backs. Looked very promising. He was one of the leaders of that pack, and sad to see him go out as he did Just honestly, just watching it. And then on another note, for my fantasy team, I'm just kind of pissed right now.
I felt bad for him because he was off to he was trending in a tremendous direction. That was tough to see for sure. I think I'm gonna give it to Joe Burrow. 480, 3 touchdowns was pretty dominant, and it was pretty easy.
Yeah.
I think I got to give it to Joe. He's probably been about like the 4th best QB this year. I'd have Mahomes. I'd have Josh Allen. I'd probably have Hurts above him, but I'd probably have him next. So
very slow, but he also his stride as well is looking really good. So yeah, that definitely is a good pick. I'll give a nod, like as you mentioned, we kind of overlooked him the last couple of weeks. I'll give a nod to Josh Jacobs as well, and say he's my pick there. So definitely though, either way, some great performances across the board. I'm happy that they all are doing their thing there. I'm going to one of my things, best fits of the week. Joe Burrow definitely is not on this list. He had this purple and black, like I don't know what the fit was, but I
didn't come through for him.
Usually I like Joe's outfits, but it wasn't for me this week. So oh well. I looked at his like you looked at Kyler last week. I just wasn't feeling it. It's kind of like that. But the ones that I did like, one of your favorites, your Black King as you call him, Travis Kelce.
Hey,
outfit on all Louis glasses. It's a black shirt, pants, and I think he had and some neon green off-white ones. With that, the neon green off-white ones, and then on top of the all black, he had it's like a neon green and red like cardigan, the Louis V cardigan that looked real cool and all that. And yeah, it pieced together nice.
You trying to tell me that ain't a black man? Come on.
The neon don't work on everybody, but it looked nice on him. And definitely was a nice fit. Another one, Jaron Curse that I saw. He plays for the Patriots. My apologies if I got that wrong, but had a gold cardigan on with the Elvis. So it was a graphic tee, a little rock and roll shirt on, some jeans on. It had like a high rise at the bottom with loafers. Everybody likes rocking loafers these days. Definitely came together real nice. So wanted to shout him out. And another guy on the Chiefs, Juju, had a nice outfit this weekend.
A good game too.
Yeah, nice game as well.
Play good.
Juwanji buttoned up. Driver notes. I think I said that right. Cream oversized pants, some Fendi low top suede sneakers, and then a nice little tote bag on the side also. So all came together real nice, and those three definitely look best. I'll salute to your Black King again, Travis Kelce, and say he had player of the week. But definitely some nice things across the board. And again, just enjoy seeing how guys show up to games as they get ready to perform on Sundays. So great stuff there. Flipping back to you, not him of the week. Who you got there?
Once again, mainly quarterback driven, although there is an Atlanta Falcon on here. Number one, I got Mac Jones. He had 13 yards and a pick, and he got benched. Pack it up, sir.
Did he trick us or trick them? He tricked somebody.
We tricked the state of Massachusetts, I guess. But other than that, I don't think anyone else was like high on Mac Jones. I think he was like a decent floor guy, but not much of a ceiling. He was like game manager. You know how they like get the game manager.
I'll say this too. It doesn't help that Bailey Zapp looks exactly like him.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, okay, he didn't work. Just bringing the same guy who's doing the better.
Yeah.
Adios.
Yeah. So I said, pack it up. Matt Ryan, 243 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks in the L.
And he got benched this week, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, and he got benched as well. So I have pack it up for good. Him.
We're back on. You're taking us back on.
I told him to retire a few weeks ago. He fake had a good game after that.
Yeah, right. No, we're back on that. We're back on that.
Yeah. Fool me once, shame on you. Then I got on here Zach Wilson. Not necessarily fully on the not him with him. I put on here show me something though. I feel like the Jets are kind of hiding him so far. And you're not gonna be able to hide him with no Breece Hall now. So they're gonna need Zach Wilson to have a couple solid games to win some of these close matches.
I'll say this, and I might be wrong, but I'm gonna say it. I didn't hear any trade requests from receivers when Joe Flacco was throwing the ball.
I mean, this is true.
Everybody was bad when Joe Flacco was back there. Now Zach's back there.
He would target Elijah Moore a little bit more. Flacco
I hope so. He was ready to go. He's like, he's not throwing the ball to me at all. Where is Joe?
Yeah. I think he only threw the ball like 24 times or something like that. So, yeah. And granted, they were playing the Broncos, so that's one of the better top 3 defenses in the league. But they're gonna need him to sling it a little bit more. And he was known as a gunslinger. Like he was getting some of the Brett Favre comparisons early on. So I just need him to show me a little bit more.
Understood.
Yeah, and then Atlanta Falcon, Kyle Pitts. I don't know if it's purely his fault. It's partially the scheme and Arthur Smith and how they're utilizing him as a blocker and Marcus Mariota not really throwing the ball. Or they're not trusting Mariota to throw the ball.
Correct.
But especially if you have this man in fantasy, like my apologies to you for drafting him like 3rd round or whatever because you wasted
a funny story that I'll share. I had Kyle Pitts as we talked about to start the season off, and I was trying to find ways to get rid of him. I couldn't find anything. For some reason,
we got to bring Matt on the show soon, man. It's been too long.
For some reason, our guy Matt, who's on the show a few times, Matt was like, "Hey, you want ETN for Pitts?" I was like, "Yes." Dude. And admittedly, I hold some accountability in that too. He also had Rashad Penny on the team. I tried getting Rashad Penny from him, and that didn't work. And his alternative was ETN, and I was like, "Okay." And it's worked out.
Like anybody's better than
it's worked out just fine so far. So yeah, glad to get off the pitch train right now because it's not been going well, and they had to figure that out in Atlanta because again, he's too good of a talent. Went too high in the draft and all of that to be underutilized as he's been so far.
Yeah. I think if you get him a solid QB and like one that can throw to him, I think he'll be a top 3 tight end, top 4 tight end. But right now it's been rough looking at his stat line, especially if you're a fantasy manager.
Yeah. I'll definitely get next year, but we'll see how it goes 6 weeks in. I might pull the trigger yet again. But definitely not him for the moment. So they want definitely hear you in that. If I could throw another name in the pot, didn't Andy Dalton throw like 17 picks against the Cardinals the other day?
Maybe, but he also threw like a few touchdowns too.
He
I guess he kind of cleaned it up.
I think the Cardinals blew them out in the end, but he didn't look good from what I remember. So
it ended up being like an 8-point game or something like that. But
it was garbage time.
He threw a pick 6, and it had like a kind of legendary.
Hold on! Don't even get to it. Okay. I'll jump in that now. So going to the best plays. I had to mention 2, and as you're already mentioning, the 2 best plays that I had already. Marco Wilson got a pick 6 on Andy Dalton. Isaiah Simmons had a pick on get his name mixed up. Isaiah Simmons had a pick on Andy Dalton, and they both were just their defense was feasting on him all game long. Balls, the pass were getting tipped and all kinds of stuff, and things were just not working out for the Saints. And the Cardinals defense was capitalizing that night. So
and then I think
were impressive.
Dennis Allen, is that his name from the Saints? I think they said that Dalton's starting again.
Yeah, they say to start over Jameis.
Yeah, which I'm kind of surprised by because I think Jameis is healthy again. But
he is healthy, which is it's a surprise scratch. So I don't know what all led to that call. We know Jameis can be very vocal at times, both in the media and I'm sure even more within the locker room. So I don't know if that played any part or what, but they're still going with Andy Dalton. And we'll see if it's going to be more of the same with them in New Orleans. I hope for them. I thought they were going to outplay the Bucs, which still is possible. But so far, they just have not been impressive. So be it. But, both those pick 6s were my first mention for best play of last week. And then also Justin Fields unexpectedly against the Patriots. We expected a biblical performance, as we joked about on Monday night, but the Bears had other plans and ended up putting up a great performance. And one play, the Pats, Bill sent a blitz at Justin, and he found a way he pumped one to find him and went around and found Herbert, Khalil Herbert for a screen, and he ran out for a touchdown. And that definitely was an impressive play. So I want to just commend him for the play and also for them routing the Patriots in a game that we did not expect to happen whatsoever. So you're shaking your head. Go ahead and explain why you're sad about that one.
Matt tricked me, man. Matt tricked me into playing that Patriots defense. With Belichick had the whole segment where he was talking about how good the Bears are, and people were like, "Oh, you know when he does that, he's got a lethal game plan prepared." I said, "Okay, all right, let's see what this Patriots defense is about." And they get like 30 piece, almost 40 piece by the Bears.
Horrible. On Monday night too. All the primetime games have been bad so far. They got to fix that. But those out the way now, so maybe they start getting better with the picks. So definitely a tough game for the Pats there. But again, salute to Justin Fields for that play. And the last one, and this guy could have been mentioned low key for your him of the week. Mecole Hardman had 3 touchdowns on Sunday. And the plays that he did. Jet sweeps pretty much just both ways.
That's why I was like a little fluky. I don't know if that's
wheeling around, another way, swoop around, just back and forth all game long, and they couldn't do anything with it. So,
and when you got that 4.3 speed or whatever,
exactly. So, it's been interesting with the Chiefs because early on it was just Kelsey and a lot of the run game. Yeah. Now the run game has been, I don't want to say exposed, but the run game has not been as effective as it once was. Yeah. So find other ways to utilize the run game, and that's been utilizing Mecole Hardman swinging back and forth. And now it's also opened up things for Juju. We were down on Juju early on, and Juju's now gotten more touches and touchdowns and things. So the offense has definitely opened up, and Mecole and Juju have finally started to benefit from it. He benefited from it tenfold this last weekend with the 3 touchdowns that he had. So I just want to salute him for that for best play. So good stuff there.
Sure.
And then lastly, best celebrations. I only had one this last week. I couldn't really see a whole lot. A lot of other celebrations with a basic put your hands up or spike the ball or whatever. Nothing a little crazy. I didn't see a whole lot of greedy or anything either. I might have missed it. But the one play I did want to point out, again, I already mentioned in the best plays, as you also alluded to also, when Marco Wilson caught the pick 6 on Andy Dalton running into the end zone. He dove and flipped, and it was a dope highlight, not only because of what he did. There was a shot of Andy Dalton walking away, shaking his head. And at the same time he's shaking his head, you see Marco in the background
diving like a flying squirrel.
Flying squirrel. That was real cool to see. So I'll give that best celebration this week. The only nominee, because everybody else kept it simple, it seemed. And that is it for the Hymn Zone right now.
For sure.
We'll be back in 2 weeks. After week 9, for another update for our power rankings. Definitely what was another fun one that we got to last week. We bounced things around. A whole lot of teams jumped up and down, and excited to see how things shifted again. We'll be back as well for some MVP things also. And Alec, what else you want to add there?
We talked. This could be added if you want. We talked about a couple of QBs. Would you want to do a QB tier?
We can do a QB tier. The only thing is, I don't think the Bladen one is updated. I think it still has. It doesn't have.
Last year?
Yeah, it's like last year. So Zach isn't on there, or Mac Jones all is on there.
Sure.
So we gotta find some way. But did the rankings there. We'll be back again in 2 weeks to do more of that. We'll have a Hymn Zone for the NBA as well shortly, and get that all figured out for you guys. And just good things across the board with it. So that's that. Then lastly now, as we're here, week 8 and jumping into this next week. Alec, I don't know if you realize how good of a week you had with your picks last week. You went 11-3 last week with your picks.
Oh shit! Okay, I didn't realize.
I think the week 2 weeks before, now you're 11-3, so you're storming back. I think, like I said, we were tied like 2-1 or something like that. I think you're up 3. Oh, we're tied 3-1 now, I believe. So definitely has been good to keep track of. We haven't figured out whatever our thing's going to be at the end for keeping track of this, but we'll get to that at some other point.
I could have had 12 if the Patriots didn't shit.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And I have a few picks I threw out there just for the fun of it. I think the Falcons like that. I just threw them through. So I'll try to be serious this week and pick the teams that I think will actually get these wins. So here we are. Also I went 7-7. Just okay. But now here, week 8, quick picks. Jumping into it Thursday, Ravens at Bucks. Bucks at 1 point.
I like the Bucks. I could see the Ravens winning it. These are 2 teams that are kind of in a similar boat right now.
Actually, hold on. I want to reset. I want to do it with the mask on. Reset. Okay, hold on. My bad. I just thought of that.
Oh God.
Okay, sorry. Getting back in the holiday spirit. Again, we're here for week 8. Excited for all the things that are on the way. I want to put the mask back on in the holiday spirit. I've been watching Halloween movies and things all season long and definitely enjoying that. But yeah, here for week 8, quick picks. Excited to jump into it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Week 8, quick picks. Thursday, Ravens at Bucks. Bucks at 1 point.
As we said, it's scary hours for both these teams right now, looking a little shaky. I like the Bucks with the slight edge. Wouldn't be surprised by a Ravens dub, but I'm gonna go Bucks here.
I think the Ravens get the run game rolling and get a dub here in Tampa Bay, rolling with the Ravens.
Okay.
Sunday, the early game, Broncos at Jags in London. Jags at 2.5 points.
Give me the Jaguars. I think no Russ still, right? It's questionable.
They said he was doing push-ups in the airplane on the way over there. So
He said he was doing knee highs in the aisle while people sleep. If you don't sit down, bro. In London, give me the Jaguars. Give me the Jaguars in London.
Yeah, I'm going Jags as well. Panthers at Falcons. Falcons at 4 points.
Panthers at Falcons. Panthers were a surprise last week, man. That defense is actually solid. Panthers at Falcons. Divisional.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go Panthers.
I'll try Falcons again, see how that goes. Bears at Cowboys. Cowboys at 9.5.
I'm going to go Cowboys. That defense is elite.
Correct. Justin Fields is getting us again, not this week.
Yeah, not again.
So I got Cowboys also. Dolphins at Lions. Dolphins at 3.5 points.
Dolphins, convincingly. Yeah.
Cardinals at Vikings. Vikings at 3.5 points.
Vikings.
Quick side question. Yeah. Better duo, Kyler and D-Hop or Kirk and Justin?
I mean, Kyler and D-Hop, I'm just not a huge fan of Kyler. But Kyler and D-Hop, yeah.
Agreed. Okay, just wanted to ask that real quick. Raiders at Saints. Raiders at 1.5 points.
Raiders at Saints. Ugh. So a lot of mid-offs this week. Raiders at Saints. Huh. Yeah, I see the line's only 1.5. That's close. Raiders at Saints. Raiders. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going with the Raiders. Also, Pats at Jets. Pats at 2.5 points somehow.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Jets. That defense is actually solid, and Patriots are not good, so I'm gonna go the Jets.
Correct. I got Jets also. Steelers at Eagles. Eagles at 10.5 points.
Eagles.
Titans at Texans. Titans at 2 points.
Titans.
For whatever reason, another quick question. I've seen this question going around.
Okay.
Next 3 years, who'd you rather have in your backfield, Derrick Henry or Dameon Pierce?
Next 3 years?
Correct.
It might be Dameon Pierce on it, just because he might fall off a cliff. Derrick Henry.
I'll say Derrick. I think he still has 3 years left, but it might be 3 years and that's it. So
yeah.
But yeah, definitely an interesting one there. Back to it. Commanders at Colts. Colts at 2.5 points.
Colts are going with Sam Ehlinger. I'll go Colts. I don't really like this Commanders team too much.
I don't either. Heineke starting. I still think they figure it out though. I'm gonna take a chance on the Commanders.
Okay.
Niners at Rams. Second game of the season. Niners now have picked McCaffrey. Niners at Rams. Niners at 1.5 points.
Still Niners. They've had their number in the regular season for 3 straight years.
Sadly, yeah, going Niners as well. Yeah. Giants at Seahawks. Seahawks at 3 points.
I feel like I got to give the Giants their respect. They keep winning games. Seahawks have been better than expected, too. I'm going to go Giants, though.
I want to take the home field advantage and go with the Seahawks, actually.
Okay.
12th man?
Is it the 12th man?
12th man, I think he plays his part this game. We'll see. Packers at Bills. Bills at 11 points.
Yeah, it's the Bills pretty convincingly.
Yeah. And then Monday night should be a good one. Except for Ravens fans, we're going to be miserable the whole time. Yeah. Bengals at Browns. Bengals at 3.5 points.
I'll go with the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm going Bengals as well. So should be a real fun week. Excited for it. I think Monday is going to be it's Halloween night, so surely it's going to be a fright fest to watch for Ravens fans and others. Hopefully it's a good game, and yeah, excited for all that's to come in the NFL and beyond. So good stuff there. Hopefully you guys like my mask and all that. Excited for the season. A whole lot of good stuff going on. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Any other note you have right now, Alec, or are we good?
I don't think so.
Yeah, what's your costume going to be?
What'd you say? What my costume going to be?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm dressing up. I don't think I. Yeah.
What? I'll send you a mask. I got you. All right. That's it for the show today. We'll be back soon for NBA stuff and as well continuing on with all of our NFL content. Appreciate all the love. Show us a whole lot of love on TikTok. We got that flooded with clips all the time now and all that good stuff. IG and TikTok, same at section.300. Follow us on Twitter at Section of the Sports. Follow me at JustAG, Michael Myers, or wherever you want to find me. Follow Alec R. Foster on all platforms. And subscribe to the show and all that as well. Appreciate all the love. And yeah, man, we out of here. Appreciate it. Peace.
Deuces.
That's not as hard as you're thinking here.